Good day to everyone. I'm Tan Sing Ni, and my group member are Tan Ifan and Cheng Xian Yen. Now we would like to present about our final project. Next, I would like to present about the introduction of requirements specification. The purpose is to achieve customer satisfaction and foster loyalty of customers by reporting using this web-based application. And the scope is the user can open a ticket and solve their problem and free to register to inquiry any problem for the mobile services. The overview is about functionality and non-functionality requirements, use case diagram, context diagram, and use case specification. Next, I would like to present about 11 functional requirements in our final project. They are register account, login account, manage ticket, manage profile information, manage multiple languages. Manage communication, trace ticket progression, manage technical issues, manage feedback, generate data analytic report, and login out account. Now I would like to present about non-functional requirements. They are security safe, capacity, performance, and accessibility. So this is the use case diagram. Next is our context diagram. Now I would like to explain about one of our use case spec, which is HTA07 trace ticket progression. This use case is initiated by the user. This use case will enable the user to trace the ticket progression that has been created before. The actors in this use case are the users. The preconditions are the users has logged into the HTS server. The user has created a ticket in the HTS server, and the system can retrieve the ticket status from the database. The characteristic of activation is event-driven on user's demand. For the basic flow, this use case starts if a user select the trace ticket progression option on the main page of the HTS account. The system shall display a tracing ticket progression page to the user on the screen. The system shall provide a prompt ticket ID to the user. The user shall enter the ticket ID that was acquired after the ticket is created. The user shall press the View Ticket button after the ticket ID has been entered. The system will verify the ticket ID from the database E1 invalid ticket ID. The system will display the latest ticket ID stated on the screen. The use case ends. The alternative flow is not applicable. Exceptional flow is E1 invalid ticket ID. If the user wrongly enters an invalid ticket ID in the text box that does not exist in the database, the system will display a message invalid ticket ID to the user on the screen. The system will wait until the user enters a valid ticket ID. Post conditions is the user can check and view the latest status of the ticket successfully. The rules is the user must enter a valid and correct ticket tracking ID that was acquired during the ticket creation process. Failing to do so will leave user unable to trace their ticket's status. The constraint is not applicable. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, doctor and my fellow friends. My name is Cheng Xian Yin and my matrix number is 279418. I would like to present about design and implementation phase. The design and implementation phase is a critical stage in the development of any project or program. It is the phase in which the details of the project are planned and the necessary resources are put in place to carry out the project. Our purpose is to define the goals and objectives of the project. This involves clearly stating what the project is intended to achieve and establishing measurable outcomes to evaluate the success of the project. Next, develop a detailed plan. This involves creating a step-by-step plan for carrying out the project, including identifying the resources that will be needed and establishing timelines for each task. In the design phase of a project or program, the cohesion and coupling need to be considered to ensure that the system is well organized, efficient, and maintainable. We choose UML for our method use. UML is a standardized language for creating visual models of software systems. It is a widely used method for representing the structure, behavior, and interaction of software system. And the reason why we choose UML for software design, first is UML is a widely accepted standard, and second is UML provide a common language. Third is UML is expressive, and the last one is UML is flexible. The tools we use to construct the design model is Draw.io, which is a popular online diagramming tools that can be used to create a wide range of diagrams, including flowcharts, network diagrams, UML diagrams, and others. It is a useful tool for creating professional quality diagrams quickly and easily without the need for specialized software or technical skill. There are several reasons why we choose to use Draw.io, like easy to use, cross-platform, collaborative, and others. Overall, Draw.io is a powerful and easy to use tool for creating professional quality diagram. In the report, class diagram, for sequence diagram, use case diagram, and specification, and activity diagram was included. Class diagram is to show the relationships between classes in a system. It can be used to represent the structure of a system by showing the relationship between classes and their attributes and operations. Sequence diagrams is to show the interactions between objects or components in a system. It can be used to represent the flow of message or events between objects over time. Use case diagram is a type of behavioral diagram that shows the interactions between actors and a system. It can be used to represent the functionality of a system from the perspective of the users. In conclusion, the design phase in software engineering is an important step in the software development process. It involves defining the architecture and structure of the software system, as well as the interfaces and interactions between its components. The unified modeling language was chosen to ensure that the final products meets the needs of the users and stakeholders, and a well-designed system is easier for testing and maintenance. This is our activity diagram, and this is our class diagram, and this is our sequence diagram. Lastly is about the cohesion and coupling. Help desk ticketing system, HDS, identified as sequential cohesion. From HDS, the class content must be quite specific in its operations. A component generates data that is used as an input by another element. The roles and procedure are closely related to the class and module. The name, input, and output of a function make up its single interface known as the function authorizations. Next, the modules are referred to as being data coupled if their dependence on one another is based solely on the fact that they pass data when communicating. The components in data coupling are separate from one another and communicate with one another via data. Lastly, HDS also identified as data coupling. It is because information from one module is transferred to another. The modules are said to be data coupled if the relationship between them is based on the reality that they merely transfer data as a form of communications. The components in data coupling are separate from one another and interact with one another via data. And that's all for me. Thank you.
A very good day to our lecturer and our fellows. My name is Tan Yifan and my matrix number is 277078. I will briefly bring out the validation part for our help desk ticketing systems. After design and develop, we will test our application with the following test stage, which is development testing. Our development team done the test during the development process to ensure the code is working correctly. And release test, our development will do this test truthfully test to ensure it is stable and free of the major bugs. Number 3 is user testing. Once our system has been ready for release, we will let the real user to test and ensure it is easy to use and meets their needs. We will carry out the different type of tests during the different test stage. During the development testings, we will carry out unit testing, which is test individual units or components of a system in isolations. And during integration testings, we will testing about how different units or components of a system work together. About the system testing, we will test the entire system as a whole to verify that it meets the functional requirements. During the release testing, we will run about requirement-based testing. We will testing it involve the creating test cases that are based on the specific requirements of the systems. Scenario testing that it is focused on verifying the behavior of the system under different scenarios. About the performance testing, it is usually focused on evaluating the performance and scalability of the system. During the user testing, the first is alpha testing. Alpha testing that is typically done by the in-house developer or tester. Then we will go to the beta testing. Beta testing is usually release the beta versions to the external user to done the acceptance testings. Finally, we will go to the acceptance testing. This is the final stage of user acceptance testing, and it is typically done by the end users. This is the process how we test the help desk ticketing systems. First, we start with a test plan, and then we start to design a test case. In a test case, we must prepare a test data, and then after we have the test data, we will test run with the test data, and then we get the result, and then we will compare the test result with the test case, and finally we will get the test reports. Test strategy select for our help desk ticketing system, which is partition testings and equivalence partitionings, and the justification why we choose them is about partition testing can help to improve the reliability and increase the confidence in its quality by ensuring that the systems behave correctly and consistently across all input values. Partition testing can help to identify and fix any defects or issues that may impact the reliability of the system. This can be particularly important for systems that are critical or mission critical, or as even minor defects or issues can have serious consequences. While equivalence partitionings also can improve test coverage, identify defects or issues may occur with certain type of inputs, and improve the reliability and quality of system. When them are used conjunctionally, both with partition testing and equivalent partitionings can further optimize the test process. So that's why we select these two as our test strategy. Next, I will bring out the technique used when testing a help desk ticketing systems. Both white box and black box test techniques can use for validate the quality and reliability of the systems. White box testing can be used to validate the internal structure and behavior of the system, such as the correctness of the codes, the coverage of the test, and the performance of the systems. Black box testing can be used to validate external behavior of the system, such as its functionality, usability, compatibility, and performance, and as well as its reliability and scalability. About proposed test case, we designed the test case which include common scenario testings, involves testing system with typical or expected inputs values to ensure that system function correctly under normal conditions. Edge case testings involve testing the system with extremely or unexpected input value to ensure that system can handle this scenario correctly. And then negative scenario testings is usually involve testing the system with the invalid or incorrect input values to ensure that system can handle this scenario gracefully and does not allow for any error or vulnerabilities. And performance testings. This testing is usually testing the system response time, scalability, reliability under various conditions to ensure that system meets the specific performance requirements. And then this is all for the validation part we done for the help desk ticketing system. Thank you, everyone.